Spurge here, and in this video we're going to break down the new Sedici Corsa 2 leather jacket. So really what you're seeing here is the top half of the new Corsa 2 race suit from Sedici. We had a lot of excitement around this newest iteration of the suit. They've made some key changes to really make it a leader in race suits in the sub $1,000 category, and all that technology is now carrying over to the new Corsa 2 jacket. So we are seeing a $50 increase in price from $300 up to around the $350 mark, and we're going to walk you through everything you're getting for that, starting with sizing. So this is going to be Mr. McHugh on my left-hand side. He stands at 6 foot tall, weighs in at 220 pounds, and has a 44-inch chest. According to Sedici's size chart, he should be in an extra large. That is what he is wearing right now, and it fits him spot on. Now, the one note here is that one of the things that we really like about the Sedici leather line is that they are working to integrate airbag compatibility to their garments. So Pat fits perfectly in an extra large if he is just wearing this as a standalone jacket with an added back protector. If he was planning on adding the airbag to this or using an airbag with this under the jacket, he would definitely size up to a 2XL. So keep that in mind. If you find yourself looking at this and thinking about using it with an airbag system, you will probably want to bump up one size. Size range does run from a small up to a 3XL, and there are two different colorways available. Pat is in the white version on my left-hand side. So what we're going to talk about is where, first and foremost, where you would look at this versus bumping up to something like the Corsa 2. So the Corsa 2 comes in around the $800 price point for the one-piece suit. This, again, just the jacket comes in at $350. If you are primarily riding on the street, maybe you are thinking about getting into your first track day, you can actually get the jacket and the matching pants for about $200 less than what you would get into for the suit. If you are using a one-piece suit for a lot of regular track use, that is where you would want to bump up to the full suit. So again, you can kind of pick and choose exactly which one is right for you based on your intended use. And there's obviously the Chicane 2. If you want to step down from this, the Chicane 2 comes in around the $200 price point, and that is a sporty styled mesh and textile option. So you're getting away from the leather there. So for those of you looking for a leather jacket, this is definitely the option within Sedici's line. So starting from the top and working our way down, you're going to see some added comfort around the collar over the previous version. And the big change you're going to see is the mass increase in the amount of stretch. You now get essentially what is a floating shoulder because the stretch goes all the way up around the collarbone. We're going to have a massive accordion stretch. We'll see it in a second, working its way down the back. And then that stretch comes all the way down the arm. Axial CE level 2 armor at the shoulders as well as the elbows. And if you want to know what that looks like, it looks like this right here. So the CE level 2 axial armor, soft armor, pliable, comfortable to wear, and it's going to feel nice and comfortable in this particular application. Another thing that's new is Sedici put the investment in its proprietary TPU sliders. Before this, it was just buying TPU sliders. The brand was just using off-the-rack sliders. So it's now got its own designed TPU slider with the Sedici logo on here. And you're going to see that with the elbow as well. The elbow sliders have been slimmed down. It used to be a larger, thicker slider that was removable. They've definitely kind of slimmed down. Pat McHugh gives us a little view right here. They've definitely slimmed down the TPU on the side as well. And you can see this is now a proprietary slider. The big takeaway there is it's designed to work within the garment versus buying something off the rack and kind of having to figure out how to work it in the garment. It's something that is now designed to work with the garment. You got stretch at the top of the arm, or accordion stretch within the leather. You got perforated leather working throughout, and then an aramid patch right here has been added. This actually covers up your 3 seams to give you extra reinforcement. What you can't see is there's actually an aramid lined forearm with this, so you have extra aramid underneath the forearm. The leather itself is AAA rated, and then you can see from an entry point, you have a YKK zip entry. I like the fact that you have this split design here. For me personally, if I'm riding on the street, I sometimes will leave this open, get a little bit of extra airflow moving up my arm. But if you are riding more aggressively, if you're on the track, you want to make sure that that's closed to give you maximum protection. And I just like the way the Sedici Corsa 2 logo kind of comes into play over on the right-hand side without it being big or bulky or sewn on. Working your way down the front, massive perf panels on this, and it's not going to work its way all to the edges, so it's localized down the front of the chest, so you're not going to have to worry about it, kind of the integrity of it around the seam. And it's going to give you a nice airflow in the warmer months of the year. Now keep in mind, if you're wearing this in the heat of summer, it still is a leather jacket, but I love the fact that you've got this mass amount of mesh working its way all the way down the belly. Side warmer pockets. Mr. McHugh, go and face sideways, strike the riding position. So this is where we were talking earlier about kind of like that floating shoulder design almost. The stretch comes all the way up around the collarbone, and then it comes into this accordion stretch panel in the leather. The accordion stretch is perforated as well, and that is going to work its way all the way down the side. And then the only adjustment you're going to have at the side, and that Velcro is on there nice and tight, is just right here. So you have just the side Velcro adjuster down at your hip. You get a better view of how this works its way down the back with a little bit of perforation of the accordion stretch at the back of the arm. And again, a nice view of the slider there with Pat in the riding position. Mr. McHugh, you can go ahead and face backwards for me. Stretch all the way around the top of the collar. Would have been nice to see a little bit of added reflective to the back of the jacket. So that's the one thing I think is probably missing here for a jacket that is primarily going to be used on the street. The other thing to note here too that's different than the Corsa 2 race suit is that you no longer have the speed hump. For the majority of people riding on the street, you do not need a speed hump. And if you're a beginner track rider, you do not need a speed hump as well. So the speed hump has been removed from this for just better comfort in the street. Massive amounts of perforated leather. And then the other call out here too is that this will show up with a foam pad in it. That is not a back protector. Would definitely recommend adding something like the AXIAL 2 back protector to this to give you that full coverage in the elbows, the shoulders, as well as the back. Drop seat, you can see the Sedici logo across the back of this. And what you can't see, and Pat, we'll have you flip around to the front at this point, is that the connection zipper has been redesigned. We talked in the beginning about wanting to match this up with the pair of Sedici leather pants, and they changed the way the connection zipper was designed. So regardless of which size pants you go with, it will give you a better connection to the jacket. So it really is designed to be used as a two-piece suit if that's the kind of protection you're looking for. You can obviously wear it with a pair of riding jeans as well, and you're not going to feel like you're missing out too much there. Napoleon pocket over on the left-hand side, as well as drop pocket there for a little bit of extra storage if you so choose. One of the things that I like about this is that, you do have some pockets on here that you wouldn't necessarily have if you were going with the one-piece suit. So for those of you looking for something that you can use on the street, as well as a get you to the track option if you're going to match it up with the pants, this really is something to consider. Pat, go ahead and zip up for me. So it's been great to see the evolution of what Sedici's been doing within their Corsa 2 line. Whether you are just starting out as a street rider or something that you want to get you to the track, or if you're looking at bumping up to something that is more of a dedicated track piece, the Corsa 2 is their flagship within their leather alternatives. And it's been great to see how the designers have been willing to take feedback and talk with Pat and I as we walk through some of the evolutions of what this has become. For those of you out there that still have questions, you can always click the info button on your desktop or mobile device, which will take you over to the product page. You can read about all the features and the changes within the line. And if you still have questions, you're not really sure which leather jacket is right for you, or you're thinking about doing your first track day and you're still confused as to your best option, you can always reach out to one of our customer service representatives, and they can walk you through the best options to match with your riding style as well as your budget. I want to thank you for joining Pat and I as we took a look at the Sedici Corsa 2 jacket. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.